Hello, everybody. This is Sarah Bailey, or S.A. Thorup. You might know me better by. I decided to share with you a little bit of editing. I've mentioned several times throughout the years that I edit my own books. I've gotten a lot of practice doing this, and I've gotten some education too. I've studied grammar for a semester, and I've applied that quite a bit for years, and I'm very grateful for it. So anyway, what we're looking at on the screen is the manuscript, I guess I should say. I was about to say draft, but it's not really a draft. The manuscript of Book 2 of The Legend of Drakenite, Gift Search. And I've just been going through the manuscript. I've jumped back and forth a few times. Just to give you an idea of how much I've added to this book, revised. This chapter, Decisions, this used to be chapter 4, and now it's chapter 12. I've added a lot of stuff. I've added a lot more of perspective from the characters Henry and Sabra. In book 1, they played a much bigger part, and in book 2, they kind of faded into the background when I originally wrote this, but I've given them a lot more prominence in the story, and hopefully it balances out nicely with the story about the Drakenites and the Gift Search. So, I'm at the part where one of the Drakenites, he has one of the gift machines, a powerful machine that gives these warriors special magical abilities. And they're currently trying to find a partner or host for this machine. And the machines determine who is going to bear them until their death, basically. Or unless they apostatize, that's possible too. So, without further ado, I was on paragraph 3. And hopefully you can see this okay on the screen. It's not the highest quality. I actually used to read out loud a lot more when I edited like this. I could probably do some of that. Let's see. The Drakenite of Power. Okay, so when I was younger, I had a big problem using epithets. And what that is using a title or a description of the character a lot in place of their names. I do use epithets still, but not as often. I usually use them if it's kind of pertinent to the subject of the paragraph or the sentence to emphasize a point. Drake lowered Dragonheart and swerved his head. Blue mane flattening. Ever since the reunion, he and the other Drakenites had been sweeping Ramera, looking for a compatible warrior for Dragonheart and Theros, only 2 Drakenite machines without a partner. He only had Dragonheart right now. Theros is with Zephyr. Drake shivered, tightening his black cloak around his shoulders and arching his neck further back into the hood. Let's see. Let's deliver this. Deliver. Let's delete. Yeah, it's kind of late in the evening. Okay, so this is something I've been thinking about. These Drakenite warriors, they just say, "Oh, we're gonna go on gift search later," but they've already started looking, and this is kind of an inconsistency in regards to the character Gage, whom they have invited to go on gift search. So I need to explain this a little bit more. This book has so many holes in it, it's not even funny. of Rhaenyra's greatest gatherings. And another thing I'll need to explain is why, even though they invited Gage, why he isn't actually out with these warriors. He has been finishing his education, and he's now the treasure keeper. If you're already familiar with the story, I've published this book before in a rougher form. He becomes treasure keeper, and even though he's treasure keeper, he ends up traveling with the Drakonites to the neighboring island. And something I've never explained is why he never goes on gift search while they're in Rhaenyra. I guess in my head, like, oh, the real gift search is going to be Azanul. Spoiler alert. Okay. Alright. Ever since reunion, he and the other Drakonites have been sleeping in Rhaenyra. Okay, I'm just going to add a note here. This isn't going to be the only time I'm going through the manuscript. Going on gift search since reunion. And with a note like this, I highlight it red so it sticks out. And I'm using a touchpad. For some reason, mouses aren't agreeing with this laptop, so... Okay, Sweeping Rhaenyra looking for a compatible warrior or Dragonheart Theris. Only 2 gifts. We already know what they're called. Without a partner, he only had Dragonheart right now. Theris is with Zephyr. So these sentences. The best way... He was going to find a worthy Dragonheart warrior was at gatherings. Seth held the annual water dance, where Molochs would compete and dance a song for money and prizes. It was only performed on the first storm of spring. Here is another inconsistency. It's actually not the first day of spring, it's still kind of middle winter. But since this is kind of a tropical island, there is a lot of rain rather than snow, although there will be snow sometimes. I've had to adjust the timeline a bit on what's going on. So I'll just delete that. Already several caravans. Let's put the subject first. Had arrived at the lake. Even the worst rain of the storm and part or wind tracer drawn vehicles. Okay, I don't think that's very important. When you're revising, editing, sometimes you just have to strip down to the bare bone and then add later. Only prom. Okay. Alright. Okay, I already explained. Let's see. Let's delete this. It's not very pertinent. It would be held along the southern... Be held on Minor Lake. That's where the dancers will be. And... I can't type on the shores where stands for spectators.